Hey guys, welcome back. I'm FilthyRobot, playing with Solitaire, Galg, Ricky, and Xylo, continuing our D&D campaign. So just a quick recap of last episode. This is this is the fourth recording session, and this is part 2 of the fourth recording session. We just had a quick recap. They brought Alokian's body back to town, went looking for potentially a cleric to resurrect them, and were unable to find anyone to do that, and been approached by the bar owner, wife, about helping with the Red Brand situation. Additionally, they've just been introduced to my new character, and they have now made party acquaintances. So we're going to continue from there and leave it to Solitaire, I guess.
Sinta, what are you up to?
No, that was just a test roll.
I'm asking what you're up to.
Just in general, nothing to do with the roll.
Looking very embarrassed by the fact that he screwed up that melodic line because, there's just a third, and for some reason you can get a third mixed up. But anyway, and now he's just sketching this guitar.
Okay. Still at the other table.
Yep.
Okay. At this point, the bar owner, Toblin, he kind of wanders around the... you guys have a perception of him from the bar, and clearly the bar is on a platform, because he seems like fairly regularly heighted behind the bar, but he walks around and you can clearly see that he's a halfling. Not just from proportions, but also from height. And he walks around and he kind of leans in closer towards Trulina and gives her a kiss on the head. And then looks to each of you. And kind of pauses for a second and says, well, it's nice to meet all of you. Good to see some fresh faces around town. Generally, the freshest faces are the ones we can trust the most. And he delivers another round of ales to the table, and then walks around and back towards the bar.
Troblin, before you go, we would like to stay the night here, if that's fine with you.
Yes, rooms have actually already been arranged for the night, so not to worry about payment.
Who arranged them?
Sildar. Sildar told us ahead of time that he would be having travelling companions, so there's a couple of rooms upstairs.
Excellent. Thank you, then.
No problem. And he walks up back towards the bar. Yeah.
Is Darren still with us?
Darren has gone and sat at one of the other tables. He's actually sitting at the bar at this time. He's kind of taking note of things going on around the room, but he's mostly very focused on the mug in front of him.
Okay. I suppose Aust should do something about Lokian's dead body. So I suppose it makes sense to take some bedrolls or something and wrap him up, and then put him somewhere until morning so that we can bury him then. So, actually probably just get some sheets from Toblin. That makes sense, right? Yeah.
Okay. So what'd you do?
Do I happen to notice this?
As he go up and what is it you're doing? I'm confused as to what it would be.
Right. I was just brainstorming. I didn't say what I was going to do. Yeah, I'll go up to Toblin and ask him if there's some sheets that I could buy.
We're not really in the business of selling sheets, I'm afraid. Maybe you could go over and ask at the provision shop or the coster. They might have something when they're open. If you need sheets, if it's an emergency, we can get some, but we're not really selling them.
Can I borrow some sheets then and get them back to you tomorrow? It is
sure.
Kind of an emergency.
All right. And he calls over Cassie and gives her some information. She walks around to the back. She returns about 5 minutes later with a number of sheets. There are 8 sheets there. 8 bed sheets.
All right, then I'll pass by Darren and say, don't mind the package on your on your porch. tonight. And then I leave.
Do I notice him walking by with the sheets?
Yes.
All right, I'm very curious, and I'm going to follow. Just follow him
Okay.
outside.
Before Aust leaves, I want to ask if do you need any help or
I don't think I will. You're welcome to help if you'd like, but it won't be necessary.
I will go with you for now, just to check, because maybe it's like someone else could notice, so there might be some problem.
You're gonna get jumped by red brands.
For example. Yeah, so I would like to go with you for now. To just
All
check on Olokian's body.
Okay, so Aust leaves, and he gets all the stuff off of Alokian's body and starts to wrap him up in some sheets.
Okay. Cool. So you do that. Alokian, do you help or you just Alokian? Kuthla, do you help or do you watch?
No, I'm watching. I'm observing the death rituals of the Northern Elves. I've never seen anything quite like this before.
All right. William, what are you doing?
Yeah, I will help with it.
Okay. It gives you a hand. Sort of wrapping up the body in these lovely clean white sheets.
I should have said this earlier also, but Alokian's stuff, like his gear, that's all still with him, right? We didn't leave it in the cave.
No, you didn't leave it in the cave.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to take his longbow and start
Alright.
using it. And
With
when he
no
goes-
shame, you take his longbow.
With no shame, I take his longbow because he's a family member, and he would appreciate that I would use it to kill the people
Alright.
that killed him,
Okay.
and any gold that he had on him. I don't actually know.
Poetic. Hang on, I'll tell you. Alokian had 4 silver pieces.
And any arrows, and then wrap him up.
Cool. So you do
And
that.
then bring him to the orchard, and I'm going to set him on, as I said to Darren, I'm going to set it on Darren's porch.
In my mind, you had agreed, Aust, and I'm not sure if this is true or not. You had agreed that I was going to aid you with goblins, and in turn I was going to be able to watch the death ceremony. So
That's fine.
I'm kind of following. I'm trying to keep a little distance behind, just so I'm not invading your personal space, but still close enough that I can see and watch.
Well, I wasn't planning on burying him until sometime in the morning when we could talk to
I
whoever
wasn't
runs the graveyard.
talking. Yeah, okay. I was just. Okay, I see. Are you explaining to me? I was asking kind of out of character what you were doing, just to clarify my actions.
I'm just trying to put Alokian somewhere that he's not going to start stinking up the place.
So I follow you then to, I guess, the porch of Master Darren. Is that where you're dumping Alokian's body?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I will also escort Aust and be on the lookout for any red brands.
All right. You do that. Okay. Do you roll me a perception check?
Who? Just William?
I think it's
William.
me.
He's on the lookout.
Okay.
Ooh.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. You have no indication of any red brands around town square. You're pretty positive of it. It's getting dark, but you see no movement or anything that attracts your attention.
Yeah, I will just nod to us that everything is clear at the moment.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, then.
So you guys, without Sinta, head down towards Darren's, carrying Alokian's body. Sort of William a couple of 5-10 feet behind you, and then you arrive at Darren's place. What do you do?
I find somewhere on the porch that, and just set Alokian down.
Okay.
There's
You
an
do
overhang, right? So it's not going to get wet if it starts raining or something.
No. There's a veranda.
Yeah. All right. Well, then set him down and pat him and say, "All right, old friend, we'll see you in the morning," and then walk off. back to the inn. Time to get some sleep.
I follow as
Okay.
well. And when we get into the inn, do you head to the table or do you head directly to bed, Aust?
Probably the table.
Oh,
There's still beer to drink.
I'll follow you over and then I'll sit down and I'll say, I've never seen anything quite like this, so can you tell me the significance of the actions you've taken? First, you've picked up sheets from a local tavern. Then you wrapped your friend in sheets, taken his weapon and his gold, and dumped him on a porch. There's symbolic meaning to some of this? Is the weapon particularly memorable in some way to you or him? Can you explain a little bit about the significance of the events that have happened tonight?
All right, Aust looks at Kuthla. He's not 100% sure how to take this, but he says, "No, there's nothing particularly ceremonious about this. He was a good friend of mine that I've known for all my life. And the longbow, which I will use, he used in combat many times against goblins, which are what eventually..."
We just rip Xilo?
Rip Xilo.
Oh, he's back.
Say again, Xilo. Which you would eventually what?
You are muted, I think. Or we can't hear you at least.
Xilo.
Oh, Skype.
Actually, I think it's Xylo's Skype. Xilo, are you muted? Say something. You're muted. Hang on.
I think it's dropping internet. Oh, wait.
That's a lead cut to the video, I suppose.
Well, I'll give him a second to reconnect and see what's going on. Maybe he just had a little lag spike or something.
But that happened every week with Xylo so far, so
Yes.
par for the course. Rejoin.
All right, we'll give it half a second. There he goes.
There we go.
Hey, welcome back. Say something for us? Nope, can't hear.
Wow, that's...
There we go.
There we go. We can hear you.
Oh, he's gone.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the worst timing ever.
Okay.
So you were saying it's like you wanted to use the longbow, something especially.
Okay, I'll just say the whole thing over. So Kuthla. Lokian used this longbow as well as rapier in combat against goblins many times, and he would find it very fitting that I use it to take revenge on his killers.
And is this a personal belief or a belief of your people?
Neither particularly. You don't think he would appreciate that?
I'm not questioning, I'm just asking for clarification. Please excuse if I've caused offense.
No offense.
Interesting. And will you leave him on the porch, or will there be further preparations of some sort?
Well, it doesn't make sense to just dig up a hole in the graveyard right now and toss him in there. So in the morning we'll arrange with the gravekeeper to have a proper burial for him.
Some of these words. So you are interring him in the earth, and you'll do that in an area that is reserved for that? Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Where you come from, this is not standard?
Our dead are burned.
Ah, I see.
I'll just leave it at that.
So, are you guys sitting down or what? Back at the table?
Yeah, we were back
Yeah,
at the table for the
I'll
conversation.
also come with them
Okay.
to the table.
All right. Anything else you guys are wanting to do this eve?
Don't think so.
I will head over to the counter with the barkeep with Toblin, and I'll ask just for clarification, and I'll say, I noticed that you had spoken to our table about accommodations. Does that include myself?
Yes, Darren had actually spoken to us as well. So we've got a room for you also. It's two double rooms that are arranged, so it seems like there are four of you. I don't know how well you know each other, but best get comfortable, I guess.
Oh, thank you for your hospitality. And I'll walk away from the bar.
All right.
Finish the round and go to bed.
For the most part, people are kind of like coming and going. Yeah. And so you guys just retire to your rooms?
Before we go, is Sinta still there, or did you go to your room already?
Sinta still looks like embarrassed like a lighthouse.
I would like to join him and just speak a little bit with him. Sinta, so how are you doing? Are you like okay with like the last thing that happened, or how are you holding up?
Well, that's life, isn't it? His fate just ended at that point in time, and hopefully ours won't.
Well,
And I'm still red, by the way. So.
Okay. Well, let's then drink to Olokian's name then, if you are okay with that at least.
Sure. Cheers. I suppose.
Cheers to Olokian. Let's hope that his death wasn't, how to say it, wasted.
In vain, maybe.
All right, cool. So you guys retire for the night, and then yeah. So it's 2 double rooms. So who's sleeping with who? Whom? Best choose quick.
Since William and Sinta shared rooms before, then it would make sense that they would continue to.
All right.
I think that might be better.
Cool.
So then it's Aust and Kuthla.
Mm-hmm.
Any objections, Kuthla?
No, that is fine.
You good with it? All right. Cool. So you guys retire for the night, and mostly the night does go fairly uneventfully, and you wake up in the morning.
Just before I sleep, sorry, Sully.
Go ahead.
I meditate before I rest, so I spend just a few minutes in kind of deep meditation before retiring for the evening.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You do that as you're accustomed to do every night, just calming yourself and taking in the day's events, new doors opening, new paths revealing themselves. It's been an interesting day.
Sorry, can I just ask to rearrange my spells? Do I have to meditate before I go to sleep or after the long rest? I don't remember.
You do after the long rest.
After the long rest, like in the morning. So I would like to do that in the morning.
Okay, cool. So you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else, you guys, Sinta? Presumably you eventually get over it and go to bed. Haunted by nightmares of your dreadful performance. But you all wake up in the morning feeling sore, stiff from the fight previously. Not you, Kuthla, you feel great. But the rest of you are somewhat forlorn about the former days events, and your muscles still kind of like aching from the trials of it. Not really having like a good proper wash either. The bed was most welcoming, however, and you all slept very soundly.
We all healed completely, right?
Yes. So all you get half your hit die back, which is 1. If you had spent any, I'm not sure if you did. All long rest resources are returned to you. All right.
All right. Time to go back to Darren's house and ask him who runs the graveyard.
Okay, so you guys get up in the morning. Actually,
I just have a quick word with Aust relative when he gets up. I'm up a little bit earlier, but eventually I assume he comes down out of the room, and I ask him, I say, it sounds like for at least for a while I will be traveling with you to pay off my debt and also to perhaps assist with these red brands. Which are you planning on attempting first?
Well, that sort of depends on what Sildar, one of our employers says. if he's most likely going to be pretty set on us finding Gundren, his other half. And so we'll see where that leads. If nowhere specific, then probably up north to where the Goblin Cave was, where Lokian lost his life.
Well, I will be ready to travel pretty much whenever. I'll just, for the time being, then stay with your group and follow you for the time being, if that is all right.
If you can keep up and you don't get yourself killed or in anyone's way, I don't have any problem with it at all.
I'll do my best to take care of myself, thank you, and I'll follow.
All right, so you guys head on down to the orchard to Darren's, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, cool. You guys head on down to the porch towards the front door. What is your passive investigation? Okay, you notice this, Sinta. Your the sheets, Alokian sheets, have been disturbed. Where before they had been wrapped quite tightly, they're now more draped over him rather than wrapped around him. The body has also been moved as well. No longer in the same place. It's actually off to the side in a more sort of like hidden behind like a 3 foot tall wall. The body's like hidden behind that.
Who noticed that?
Sinta. You also notice the body has been moved, but specifically that the sheets have been disturbed was Sinta noticed that.
Sinta wasn't with us, though.
Well, presumably you would have wrapped up the body and not just draped sheets over it.
Someone looked into the sheets. I'm assuming it's not Darren.
Aust looks rather upset, but he's not 100% sure who might do this other than Red Brands. So,
Once they say
suppose-
that, Solitaire, I'd like to pay a little bit of extra attention to my surrounding. Just want to keep an eye out if I see any red brands or other people kind of paying extra attention to the group that I'm with.
Okay. What's your perception bonus?
5.
Wow,
Nice.
extra 20. Okay, very good. You see no red brands anywhere. You're pretty confident of it. You're pretty finely attuned to your surroundings around here. And although you prefer being in the dark, you can't see anyone around. Cool. All right. Sinta, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to get Hoot to look around as well, but okay.
Okay, that's something similar, flying around. All right. So what's going on?
Should we go get Darren to see maybe if he would know?
Well, I
anyone?
assume he stayed at his home, and since we're there, then yes, let's knock on the door and see if he's here. See if he noticed anything over the night.
Okay. So you guys knock on the door a couple of times, give it a few raps. No answer at the door.
Did we see Darren leave before last night, before we went to bed?
You retired before everyone had left. Darren was still there by the time you left.
Can I try opening the door?
Sure. You open the door. You go inside. You're immediately greeted by a kitchen. It's very wooden and very well kept affair. There is a stove of sorts there as well.
Does it look
As
like
well
there
as-
was a struggle? Was there anything toppled over?
What's your investigation bonus?
5.
Okay. No, you're pretty confident that everything seems pretty calm here, actually.
And we didn't see Darren when we left the inn?
No.
Sorry, to be clear, we're at his personal house or his place of business, or they're the same?
His house, presumably. His place of business is the orchard. His house is beside the orchard.
Got it.
I'll
So,
send Hoot
To ping on the map, this is his house here, and then the orchard is behind it.
Okay.
I'll send Hoot to go look in the orchard. Maybe it's somewhere in the orchard.
Okay. What is Hoot's perception bonus?
3, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hoot sort of calls to you that Darren is in the orchard with a child currently, and they're picking apples.
He's in the orchard, but he's with a child, so shall we go?
Gotta watch out for those children. Yes.
Okay.
Aust is gonna go to the orchard to ask Darren then.
Okay, so the three of you, upon breaking and entering, leave the house, close the door,
Closing.
and then head into the orchard to go and find Darren. It takes you a couple of minutes. He's pretty deep into the orchard itself, and he sees you approaching from further away. And the child is also a halfling child, so like pretty damn small by proportions. And Darren is like picking the apples and like handing them to the child, and the child is like putting them into a sack that's there. And he's kind of like running around really excitedly. Seems to like enjoy helping out and stuff like that. Darren sees you all, the four of you approaching, and he kind of like looks over towards you, and then the halfling child looks up towards Darren and like turns and like looks towards all of you as well, and like he sort of moves behind Darren and positions himself behind Darren's leg, so he's like Darren is between you and the child, right? You guys continue approaching towards Darren, and he hails you and says, "Well, good morning, everyone."
Morning, Darren.
Good morning.
Darren, did you stay here the night?
This is my house. I usually stay here, yes.
Did you see who disturbed Lokian?
Well, I did. A little bit of forewarning as to a dead body being on my porch in the future, please.
I thought I told him that as I was leaving the inn.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we told him that.
Yeah.
Did I not?
You did.
Yeah, you did tell him.
Okay, so no red brands.
Can I do an insight check to see if he is like he forgot or is lying? Yeah.
Sure. What's your insight modifier?
3.
Okay. His mind might have been preoccupied. It may have been something he had forgotten, or perhaps he is alluding to the fact that maybe the nature of it being like very clearly there, like it was obtrusively left. It wasn't attempted to be hidden or anything like that. He may be alluding to that without explicitly saying so because of the child.
Yeah, so I do apologize, Darren. We just didn't really have any better option.
That's quite all right. I hope I didn't offend. Just wanted to make sure that
It's fine.
there wasn't anything being left for me other than that. I just expected a little more subtlety, perhaps. And he turns towards the child and says, "Pip, we're about done for today. Why don't you go up and take these apples back to your father?" And he like hands him the sack. And Pip kind of like looks up towards Darren and like looks towards you guys and like takes the sack from him. Says, "Okay, Darren, I'll see you later." He says, "I'll see you later," and he like brushes his hands off, and Pip was like running off by you, up the hill.
All right. Speaking of Lokian, is there a gravekeeper here that we can talk to?
There's no formal gravekeeper. The town's a little bit too small to formally have one. We normally just take care of it on a routine. You're welcome to inter someone at your own leisure. It would require you digging the grave, however, but there's no formal process for doing it.
Do you have a shovel?
Yes, there are some shovels. There are some shovels over by the graveyard hut that's on the hill.
Well, let's not dilly-dally. walk back over to the hut where Lokian's at, pick him up, and start walking to the graveyard.
So let's head over to the graveyard, and you see like the little small hut. It's like a sort of tool shed. Find 3 shovels there, and there are a couple of empty spaces that have clearly been marked out for graves. You take your time digging this grave. Between the 3 of you, it takes a couple of hours to do so. And eventually you've got it deep enough that then you enter Lokian into the earth. So before you replace the earth, is there anything you do or say?
Also pull out a candle from in his pack, which he has thanks to the wonders of a burglar's pack containing all this wonderful stuff. And set it at the head of the grave and light it.
Okay.
I've been mostly, as they've been digging, I've mostly just been staying in the background a little ways away, and as this starts to happen, I just edge a little bit closer to get a better look of what's happening.
Something that you did notice, one of the other graves, like there's a headstone on it. It's the headstone is turned away from you just now, but there's a brazier on top of it, and the brazier is currently burning. But there doesn't appear to be any fuel in the brazier. And this was something you guys noticed before as well, was a light on the hill. This one grave, for some reason, has this light that is just not... it's not refusing to... It's refusing to die, I guess, is the way I'm going to say it. So it just seems a little bit curious that it's over there.
Would I have noticed that as they were digging the grave?
Oh yeah, like it's not hard to spot.
Could I have just checked out the inscription on the headstone?
Sure. Okay. So you walk over to it, and very briefly written on it, here lies Prince Lanzu Bright-Eye.
Thanks. Do I recognize the name?
No. Like this isn't something you would recognize.
Okay. And I just want to take a quick look at the headstone. Can I tell if this is a magical in nature of the light, or if it is some cleverly hidden fuel system that?
Do you have detect magic or anything like that?
No, I'm just kind of physically expecting.
Okay, then it would be an Arcana check.
Okay. Arcana check.
It strikes you as really curious. Like, you don't know how the hell this thing's burning with no fuel, right? So there's got to be something up. That's what you can deduce from it.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to tell if it's I'm not trying to tell what type of magic or if it's a spell or something. I'm just literally trying to tell if it's either a physical mechanism that's cleverly concealed or if it's something else. Yeah.
Best you can tell, it's something else. Doesn't take a genius to read. Like, that would be more of an investigation check to see the workings of it, but regardless, like, you can you get the feeling that there's something else going on here, that this light is like undying. All right, so it takes you about another hour to bury the body and cover its So what do you do now? Still early-ish morning. Well, it's not actually. It's early afternoon. No.
I suppose
it's just before afternoon.
Do I notice the brazier now? That.
Oh, you had all noticed it, and specifically that Kuthla had walked off to look at it.
Now that we're done, I guess I walk over to take a look at it. Does the name Prince Lanzu Bright-Eye ring any bells for me? Should I roll a history check?
What's your history modifier?
+5.
Oh, yeah. Lanzu Bright-Eye was the crown prince of the Nomish city of Xania, which is on the northern coast, north of Vril. So presumably he was a gnome. And that's it, really. He wasn't particularly famous. Yeah.
Is Xenia very far away from here? Just like Java. Oh, okay.
Like the distance to Brawl, and then again, and then still a bit. Like it's not easy to get to Xenia.
Okay.
Okay, so
Can
once...
can I examine the brazier as well?
Sure, you got... what have you got to examine it with?
I have Arcana at +5, and...
Do you have Detect Magic? Like, the way I do it is I go down the list. If you've got Detect Magic, we do... Or Identify, we do that first. And then if not, we do Arcana.
Detect Magic, then. But I have it as a ritual, so I need 10 minutes to cast it.
Do you say anything to the others before you start doing this?
Guys, I'm going to see if this is magical, I suppose. And it's going to take me some time to cast this spell. So in the meantime, don't disturb me like the last time. Unlike the last time.
Okay.
And I can start casting.
Alright. Do any of you disturb?
I approach Aust and offer my aid. I say, I see you're down. Someone to shovel. May I help?
Okay.
Sure. At this point, we're not done burying yet, or we are?
I assume you're packing earth down now, right? You dug the hole.
Yeah.
You placed the candle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assumed that also, but I'm just asking for clarification.
Yeah. So like you guys are assisting. You're still going as Sinta kind of walks off to start this.
Sounds good.
Ritual.
So we're still busy. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I ask Aust as we're shoveling, is that grief? Gesturing towards Sinta, I say, is that grief that makes him leave the burial?
That's not exactly the word I would use, but that's close enough.
Okay.
Okay. So after casting for 10 minutes, this is evocation magic that is causing this.
Okay.
But you also notice that this flame is giving off no heat.
Mm.
This flame is giving off no heat whatsoever. It looks like a regular flame. It also doesn't appear to be giving off any smoke.
Just out of curiosity, since this is a world that we're role playing in as opposed to living in, would this be fairly normal? I mean, in a world infused with magic, would it be fairly normal to mark a grave if you were maybe of some wealth or some means with something like an ever-burning light or something?
Well, from your character's perspective, I mean, you don't know because you're from the south, and this whole burials thing is like new to you, right?
Yeah.
But from the other character's perspective, depending on their experience in graveyards, like every person, every being would have a different method of doing something like that. Perhaps this person was of specific importance or was well regarded by his comrades, or this is some kind of like salute to him or something like that. It's not anything malicious. You don't get the impression.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be. Yeah.
This is definitely some kind of like honoring ritual that's going on, but it strikes you as curious in character that they would have anybody's going to be kind of weirded out by a flame that doesn't give off heat and doesn't die and doesn't require fuel. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anything else you guys do?
Carry on. Try and finish.
All right. So you finish well and kind of like sweating from the brow a bit. Melancholic feeling as well. Your friend's cousin. But you've done him a service this day.
All right. So after we finish, then I would call Kuthla. Well, he's still standing nearby, so I'd say.
I drifted back to give you a little bit of privacy with the grave, so you can call me back over.
Okay. So then, I should call Kuthla over, and he'd say, So usually this would be done with all our family here, and we'd leave some ornament here to remember where he's left at. But since we're so far from home, our home being up north in Rural, then this is a slightly abbreviated version.
Is there some would the ornament be something in specific, or
Usually some tombstone.
I don't have
Maybe
a
some
tombstone, but I
flowers.
have. I did notice some flowers on the way in, just outside of the grave. I could perhaps gather just a few to place here to help you remember your friend.
That would be appropriate.
All right, I'll go do that just very briefly, and come back with just a couple of the flowers by the grave to place it, and I'll hand it to Aust and say, "I'm sorry for your loss."
All right, then also take the flowers and set them down and say, all right.
They're very much wild flowers, like not beautiful by any means, but certainly something that would be serviceable on this occasion.
Mm-hmm.
William?
I want to pat Aust on the shoulder and just tell him that I'm really sorry for his loss. Do you want to speak some parting words with Tolkien?
Not particularly. His killers will get what's coming to them.
I feel with you, man. We will get them. Yeah, that's all.
Is Sinta done his strange ritual by now?
Yes, he's finished with that.
All right, then. Let's see what Sildar has to say about the situation.
All right, so you guys walk back into town.
Again, I'm just paying attention for red brands.
I presume you replace the shovels back in the hut.
Yes.
Mhm,
Or do you
yep.
keep
Yeah,
the
of
shovels? Okay, cool. No signs of any red brands you can see. I'll presume that Hoot is also on the lookout at this point. Yeah, okay. Let's head back into town. Yeah. Where you head?
The inn.
Okay. You head back across over to the Stonehill Inn. And you enter, and it's kind of quiet. The bard is there over by the bar. She's sitting on one of the stools, just eating away, talking with Trilina. The little kid is sort of like running around as well, and Trilina's just sort of like looking at him fondly as he sort of runs between all the different tables.
Is Sildar there?
Toblin you cannot see, but importantly, Sildar is not there. You guys walk in, and Pip kind of like stops and like looks up at you again, and he like says, "Mom, it's them!" And he like points up towards you. And she sort of turns around to look at you as well and says, "Ah, yes, it's a good morning to you."
Good morning, Trilina.
Morning
Yes.
indeed.
Yes,
I heard
it's us.
you have had quite the morning. I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm glad you were able to send him off well.
Thank you, Trilina. Have you seen Sildar?
Sildar left this morning. He had he left in much the way that he arrived in his sheets, but he was headed over to the Coster.
What's that? Is that the place where we dropped off the goods at?
No.
That was the place where we could sell the goblin shields and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
It says the Coster is the shop just across the way over there with the blue background and the little argent star that's there. That's the one that you're looking for. It's above the door.
Oh, all right.
We offered him some clothes, but he said he was picking some up. So where he's going after that, I can't really say. At this point, the bard sort of turns around to see who they're all looking at, and she looks towards you, Sinta, and says, "Good morning."
Good morning. And
She turns back and starts eating again.
Yeah.
Um, okay, should we go look for Sildar then, or do we
Yeah,
waste
why not?
anything else?
Charisma of 10.
Okay, you guys are looking for Sildar?
Yes.
Okay, so you head over to this shop here. You guys are on the right page, right? Yeah.
Unless Sinta wants to try and woo the bard again.
He's red again.
Off to the shop.
All right. So you head over to the coster, and there is as you enter, there's a where is it? Okay, so there's a human woman, between 35 and 40, fairly pretty actually, and she's working in there, like cleaning a couple of things in the shop, just with a rag, sort of giving them polish, and she looks towards you all and says, "Good morning. New faces. Haven't seen you around town before. It's nice to meet you all."
Likewise.
You
Good
too.
morning. Yeah, we are indeed new in here. Like a few months ago, wasn't Sildar in here purchasing something?
Lord Hallwinter. Yes, he was here. He had an order to be picked up, and then I believe he was headed over to the Townsmaster's Hall. He said he had some business over there.
Okay, thank you.
And she directs this question towards Sinta and says, "I'm sorry, is something wrong?"
No, nothing. Just that we've had a long couple of days, and it's just fine. And he starts walking out.
All right.
Yep.
So he went to go see the mayor, right? Just as clarification.
He went to the Townmaster's Hall, is what she said.
Can we use intuition to guess that that's where the mayor would be at?
Perhaps.
Sinta's
All
out.
right.
You guys are still in there.
That is certainly an assumption you can make.
All right. Well, let's go there then.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm going to.
Chase him down.
So, this is the Townmaster's Hall here.
Okay.
She didn't ask, but so you guys head on over, and immediately before entering, there is a sign posted to the outside of the door, a sort of parchment sign that calls for someone to head north along the Aisha Road and hunt a band of orcs. And there is a reward. Inquire within.
I'm sorry, does the paper say once we've done it, it's like, is it say there is a reward, once finished come inquire within for that, or inquire within about this task? I'm not clear.
Probably the latter.
Okay.
It was like reward, inquire within.
Got it.
Head on inside.
Okay, so you head inside, and scene that presents you. So immediately in front of you, there's another staircase that heads up. It's narrowish, 5 feet wide or so. Like on the ground floor, to the immediate right of you, there's a small desk that's there, some sort of reception desk, something like that. To the right of you, there's a seating area of sorts with a table between some couches, and on the table is a plant pot. And then against the wall, there's another staircase which is leading down, much more narrow this time, maybe 2 feet abreast. You see no people, but you can hear some voices coming from up the stairs.
What's the tone of the voices?
One of them appears to be quite aggressive. and you kind of get the sense that it's Sildar that's talking. He didn't talk very much the previous day. Particularly, like, your character doesn't know, you didn't actually speak to him. But the rest of you kind of, like, get this sense. And there is another voice, but it's very sort of, like, mumbled. You can't make it out.
Okay. Hello? Is anyone here? And then,
Okay.
assuming no answer.
The voice is stopped. And after a couple of seconds, you hear some footsteps from the floor above, and the door, which is at the top of the stairs, opens up, and you see Sildar. And this time he's changed. He's wearing some very, like, simple leathers. And he turns around, and before he leaves through the door, he says, "I'll be back to sort this out." And there's no response to that, and he walks down the stairs. And then talks to the rest of you and says, "Good morning to you all. I hope you're all well rested. It's quite a day we all had yesterday, and I never actually got to the point, but I wanted to formally apologize for the loss of your comrade's life. It was a brave thing you were doing, and through the brief time that I knew him, he seemed like a well-intended person, and he will be missed."
Thank you. But what happens now? Where is, you said Sildar was in some fortress somewhere?
No, he is Sildar.
Gundren.
Rock
Gundren.
dwarfs. Right.
Yeah,
Rock,
well,
Gundren Rock Seeker.
I am Sildar. No, he says, well, Gundren was actually taken from the outpost, as far as I'm aware, on the orders of someone else, to some keep or castle or fortress. I'm not quite sure. Not really sure why they would take him to some other place, but he was not with me in the caves.
Are there any castles or forts in the vicinity that you know of?
I don't know the area well, but not as far as I'm aware. But areas like this, times gone by, there are ruins all over the place. It's quite possible that wherever he's being held is the ruins of a former one. As far as I'm aware, there are no active castles in the region.
Well, I suppose it's not that out of the question to think that wherever these orcs are to the north could be where Gundren is.
Well, perhaps I should come clean with the rest of you then. As to my true purpose for wanting to be in Alderbridge. I am actually a member of the Order Regis, as I have told you. But I came here with a very specific task. There's another one of my order who was sent here to investigate rumors of some forge of some kind. A friend of mine was sent here ahead of me to investigate. And this cat appears to be very intrusive. While there was some correspondence with my friend, it appeared to dry up about a month and a half ago. I organized the expedition with my friend Gundren, and we headed here in the hope, or I was in the hopes of being able to find out what happened to my friend. Gundren himself appeared to have different motives, but which also appeared to be linked to this forge. He says that his family had been looking for this forge for centuries, said it was his birthright, and said that he and his brothers had happened upon a map. Gundren was supposed to meet his brothers on the outskirts of the city, of the town. But clearly he and I were intercepted on the way here. Chats.
Master Sildar, what I didn't catch the name. What was the name of this forge?
Was the well, he referred to it as the Forge of Spells. Silly name, if you ask me, but he also had an olden tongue name as well, something dwarvish. Was Wav. How did he say it again? Wav an Wisha, I believe is how he said it.
This year. Yes. I've heard of this.
You've heard of this?
Yes. That's a strange coincidence.
You have? Would you care to elaborate?
Well, perhaps that is why you were headed to Alderbridge. I did not presume to guess your circumstances, but this is a strange coincidence indeed. What was it that brought you here?
I travel in search of knowledge in general. And contact of a contact told me of a rumor that there might be something of interest to me in this area. And it's funny that coincidence always amazes me. Again, twice, 2 days, in the right time at the right moment. It just boggles the mind. Yes, I've heard of your Forge of Spells, and I'm very interested in what you know of it.
Well, what I know is actually very limited. My interest is not in the forge itself. My interest is in my friend. That is why I came here.
Could you know your friend's name? You haven't mentioned his or her name at all.
His name is Jarno Albrecht.
Was he going by a pseudonym here when he was investigating?
Not as far as I'm aware. Perhaps he was, perhaps not. He did not report to me.
Does he go by a common pseudonym? Like, is there a name that he prefers when doing such clandestine investigations?
He and I do not generally work together, so I don't know. It seems like a foolish ploy to continually use the same pseudonym, though.
It might be a fake. Okay, never mind. That's our character. Anyway,
Is there
have
any
you
reason
talked
to
to
believe...
anyone in the town?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Have you talked to anyone in the town if they've seen your friend?
First person was the Time Master.
Is there
Could
any
you give
reason
us-
to believe that Gundrum may have been relocated to this area, the area that you have a map of? Is there any reason to believe that they might be connected?
I don't have a map of any area.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood then. I thought you said you were to meet your friend. Your friend had found a map of the city of which the Forge of Spells was in.
No, it was that Gundren had found the map and he was due to meet his brothers.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood.
My friend Iarno was sent here to investigate rumors of the forge itself as a separate venture entirely.
Oh.
It appears that the Ordo had some interest in it, but I do not presume to assume there are his directives.
Did Gundrum have the map on him when you two were captured?
No.
Or was it?
Not that he had shown to me. He may have had it.
Would he have left it in a rule? This map? If he didn't
I
have
believe
it?
his intention was to find the forge, and that was why we came here. So presumably either he or one of his brothers has it. Which worries me. If he was the one carrying it, and he was captured. Though my concern is not for the forge itself. It does not...
It's to find him.
Sounds like hoo-ha to me. But he seemed concerned about it, and I'm concerned for both of my friends at this point.
Certainly.
What's so special about this forge?
I don't know.
We'll
I
have
tend
to
to-
ask Gundren.
I turn to Kuthla. Do you know anything what's so special about this forge? I mean, it says Forge of Spells.
As I said, I am chasing a rumor of a rumor. I know very little past some essentially myths about it. It may have been involved in the crafting of very powerful relics or magics in the past, and there seems to have been some loss of this over time, and these type of things are extremely interesting to me in my travels when I find them, and this is the type of thing that I would be drawn to. So I just thought I would come up this way and see if anyone had known anything about this or heard anything about these ruins or these relics. So sorry, I can't give you much more information than that.
Sounds like the forge isn't something we can pursue until we get Gundren back. And apart from the fact that we know that he was taken by the goblins to some fortress somewhere, because we don't have any idea where the fortress is, we can either make a wild guess that the fortress is wherever these orcs are to the north, or we can head back into the goblin cave where we were originally and see if we can't find some clues there.
Sildar, can you tell us how your friend looks like? So maybe we can help you ask around and see if the townsfolk have seen your friend.
He's a human man. A little more salt and pepper than I do. I'll accept that much. It's like between 50 and 60 or so, something like that. Does love to wear his green robes.
Okay. How tall is he? Roughly?
Yeah, just about 5'10" or so.
Like a PI, but okay. Okay.
So there. The original reason why we were even brought down here was to escort some goods. Can we be paid for our services?
Oh, but of course. And he kind of goes behind the desk, which is to your right, and he reaches into the pouch and brings you out the gold and pays you each of the gold, and including a Lokian share as well. He just pays it all together for you. Which I believe it was 100 gold a person or something like that.
Yeah, that's what you said earlier.
So 400 golds you guys get.
And Gal, you're doing the party stuff.
So do I put Lokian share in the party goal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do whatever you like.
Sure. Okay. Done.
Okay, so you put just 100 in the party share, and everyone else just takes 100 for themselves?
Yep.
Okay.
Aust. From my understanding, your friend Lokian was killed pursuing the goblins that presumably kidnapped Gundren. Will you you will be heading back to deal with that situation?
Unless there's a very, very good reason why we should instead risk going to this orc encampment first, then yes.
Okay, I shall accompany you.
I think we should take a break there. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So guys,
All right.
thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon.